In this video, we're going to look at writing equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents. So first, to begin with, to write 27 as a fraction, 27% as a fraction, I first like to think of it as a decimal first. And the way to do that is to move that decimal that's behind the 7. No, it wasn't written, but it's understood. We would move it 2 places to the left. That gives me 0.27. Now, this is 27 hundredths. So think about the way we said that, 27 hundredths. And that would be 27% as a fraction. Another way to think of it is percent means per 100. So literally 27% means 27 per 100. And you could write your fraction that way as well. Now, number 2 here, what percent of the figure is shaded? So each of these is 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65 out of 100 are shaded. So 65 per 100, 65% then would be shaded. Okay, look at number 3 then. Write 30% as a decimal. So 30 per 100. So that's 30 per 100, or that's 30 100ths. Remember, tenths place, hundredths place. All right, next let's write 6 3/4% as a decimal. So first, let's convert this 3/4 into a percent. So that gives me 6.75%. It's not a decimal yet. So remember how I said we've got to move it 2 places. So we start here, we move it 1 place there, move it a 2nd place here. And notice we've got a gap now for an extra 0. So actually my answer ends up being 0.0675. And that is my answer as a decimal. Okay, just 2 more to go. Number 5 here, write 65% as a fraction. Well, we did that here. We had 65%, and we're going to write it as 65 per 100. But now we want to write it in simplest forms, and that means we have to look for what number could divide into 65 and 100. Well, I hope you're seeing that 65 ends in a 5, that 100 ends in a 0. That means they're both divisible by a 5. So I'm going to divide both of them by a 5. Of course, I'm going to use my calculator. So 65 divided by 5 gives me 13. And then 100 divided by 5 gives me 20. And so this is my fraction in simplest terms. Okay, let's look at that. Number 6 then, write 73.5 as a fraction in simplest form. So 73.5%, 73.5 per 100. That's 73.5 per 100. Now, how do I get rid of that decimal before I can start reducing? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to multiply the top by 10 and multiply the bottom by 10. The top I multiply by 10 so I can get rid of the decimal. If you type this in your calculator, 73.5 times 10 is going to give you 735. 100 times 10 is going to give you 1,000. And now you're going to get it in simplest terms. So remember, we looked at that ending in a 5. We looked at that ending in a 0. And I'm going to divide each of them by 5 to see if I can simplify. And again, doing that in my calculator, 735 divided by 5 gives me 147. And 1,000 dividing by 5, putting that in my calculator is going to give me 200. And so now I have written my 73.5% as a fraction, and then I simplified it as well.